All right, welcome. It looks like we're recording now. I'll ask you to keep your microphones muted unless you want to ask a question, and you can also ask questions in chat. I'll try to use my two brains and get to chat as well as what I'm doing. I'm going to be trying something a little tricky, a screen share, which we've hit. I don't know if it's a snag, but it's been when you have a computer with just one screen, um, sometimes the screen share has been awkward. So I'm going to try to do it. I've worked out a way that I think might work. If it doesn't work, then I'm going to ask Alex to take over the. Well, actually, I can't ask Alex to take over the screen. So if it doesn't work, we'll just try it another way.
I'm here. I'm
Yeah.
here, Toby. I'm in both meetings at the same time.
No worries. I don't have a presentation, so there's actually nothing I can share with you. I'm just going over some basics on my screen. So like I said, it'll work, and I may ask for confirmations that it's working. I know one way that will work, and it just means I won't be able to see chat. So at that point, I might ask someone else to monitor chat and see if there are any questions. A lot of what we're going to do is frankly stuff that I'm fairly sure you all know. And so it might just take 10 minutes. Then of course we have time. I'll stay on time for the whole half hour for any questions. I know what I've seen happen already is there's lots of questions specifically maybe about the topic, like when we learned about Loom, but then people are still having other questions about online learning, and I'll answer those if I can, or direct you to where I think you might need to go if you have questions. So today is just a refresher reminder about PowerSchool. It is the online platform that we use in the middle school. In your classes, you may have used it as, and I mentioned this in our last sort of mini faculty meeting on Friday, you might have used it as something aside you while you're in the room, and now we really need you to be thinking about how it is you, that this is the main way kids are going to be accessing. I've composed, Ramona and Casey and I have composed an email for tomorrow, and it'll go out every day. And part of that email is going to direct students to go to PowerSchool and click on the virtual learning tab. So just to be clear that everyone's clear, I'm going to now try to share my screen and show you kind of the minimums of how we expect you to set up your PowerSchool. So bear with me. Okay, so to do this, I'm going to actually have to share my full screen. And what that means is you're going to see me moving around on my screen and setting up windows. So, okay, if I've done this correctly, you should now perhaps see me on the right. And I'm going to open up chat here so I see if that works. Okay, not getting chat right now, so here we go. We've got chat on the right, and on the left of my screen is PowerSchool that says Toby Aikens. Anyone want to just throw a confirmation that that's kind of what they see? Maybe they even see the chat, because you're probably seeing exactly what I'm saying. Yeah, okay. Great, thank you. So I'll just click on Theory of Knowledge here, which is not actually an active class. This is from a year or two ago, but that's fine. And we're going to see an example. I'm going to show you Abby's page. I'm sure many of you have already started setting up a page. I'll show you Abby's page, which is in process in just a moment. The first thing we all need to do, and we talked about this, is create a virtual learning tab. The way you do that is you add a page, and you would just call it virtual learning. And I know this is going to be basics for some of you, but we just want to make sure it's always going to be at the bottom of the page. Don't make it a sub page, but we'll fix that in a second. So you save it. And then you can organize your page this way. And again, I know a lot of you know that. You can just move it up top. Right. So the fact that it's at the top now means that when students go there, it should be top left for them. And that makes things really easy. One thing you might consider doing, remember to publish it. We can start publishing tomorrow at Tuesday. Okay, publish now. And one thing you might consider doing just to make things easier is to start unpublishing pages that you already have. You don't lose them, and you'll still see them, but once they're grayed out, then your students won't see them. Add content blocks, and okay? This is where I think all of these are self-explanatory. You can bring in things from Google Drive. This is where you can directly embed YouTube videos or any other video you want to upload, images, files, and of course on-page text. So this is all the basics of PowerSchool and how you would put things up there. One thing that maybe you haven't used before, you might consider using now, is under activities, and that is discussions. If you've never done a discussion post, it'll show up like an assignment if you give it a due date. So you can add a discussion and title it anything you want. Questions about day 2. And it's just like an assignment. You could tie it to rubrics or phone numbers, as the case may be. And then down here, you decide whether it's a class discussion or you want to customize it for different kids. And you can describe it here. Here is where you can give it a window, and that will help it set up for students. You can choose where it goes on the page, so you certainly want it on your virtual learning page. And you can attach anything you want to it, okay? And if all is done well, if I go back to my virtual learning page, there's the discussion for the day. So if you want to have some kind of discussion where students can respond to each other, where you can respond to them without going through a Google Meeting, that's where you can do that. Of course, this would be a good place to post a link for Google Meetings as well. Obviously, we'll continue to set up assignments, and we're going to need to be flexible in due dates. I think you'll see in Abby's page, she has everything due by Sunday this week. She's kind of creating a week's worth of lessons for the 2 days. And I think that's going forward, since this is indefinite, that's really a good practice to do. We know that we have students all over the world. We have many students in Mumbai, but many not in Mumbai. And so they're going to have to be doing things at different times in different ways, asynchronously, as well as sometimes synchronously with you. So that assignments with the due dates is going to be really important for them. And remember, if you're a parent, you know this, a parent of a middle schooler, anytime you create a due date for the assignment, it pops up in the kids' calendar, so it's good for them to organize. That's basically all you need to know about that. So now I want to look at what Abby's page looks like, and I know many of you, like I said, have done this. I'm about to do something that you guys are not able to do. This is my sneaky masquerade power, where I can take any of you or any of the students and pretend to be you. So right now I'm essentially masquerading as Abby. And Abby, I apologize ahead of time. If I do something wrong, it actually can, I could end up changing your page. So hopefully I won't click anything that changes it. We click on virtual learning here, and you can see it's unpublished right now. She's going to publish it tomorrow. She has her opening note for her students, and this basically explains what she expects them to do for the day. She's got a sign-up document for Google Meets. That's new. Great job. And she's decided, and I think this is a very great way to start. It's not the way you have to start, but she's basically decided to fold her week's lessons into a Google presentation. So students will be able to go through that. You can see she's starting class just like she starts every, sorry if you hear my doorbell ringing. She's starting class just like she would normally every day with a warm-up. And in this case, she's talking about the unit. I think one thing that I'm hoping is nice about middle school is that all of us should be starting, or many of us anyway, will be starting new units. So we can just start them up virtually and make the adaptations as necessary. She gives very clear, specific instructions. I like that they're numbered here with A, B, C. This gives kids a really easy way to say, okay, I need to do this, I need to do this, I need to do this. And I think that's going to be crucial, because it's really easy for messages to get mixed online or when people are just saying them. And she's got all of her diagrams. She explains the Quizlets she wants them to do and the doc that she's sending out. And then we go on to the next one. So this, what she has, and that's Virtual Learning Day 1. She's also started on Virtual Learning Day 2. It's not done yet. Obviously, it's in process, and that's fine, of course. What she's going to have, however, is the full week of lessons, which is not a requirement. The requirement is that you have your day's lesson up by 9 o'clock on the day that you would have class. But An alternative suggestion is to do what Abby's done, which is set up that month-long of lessons that we can do so that kids can work at their own pace. You might have kids who really want to go through social studies today and tomorrow go through language arts or whatever it might be. And I think that's a great way to work this out. So she'll have that all done. This first week, she is definitely doing a lot more individual stuff, but I know that, and I think that's fine. In many ways, we should, sorry, I got dog barking and doorbells in the back again. For this first week, I think it's perfectly appropriate to not overload the kids. And that's been coming up over and over again on our Google meetings, that we're worried that if we have, like if everyone tries to plan a Google meeting, if everyone tries to plan this, that, and the other, that maybe it might be too much for kids to handle. I perfectly agree. We want a less is more philosophy. This is coming straight down the line in all divisions. We want kids to do deep learning. We do not want to overload them. And we also want to ease them into virtual learning. We don't want it to be fluffy and we don't want it to be, you know, unimportant, but we do want it to be manageable. And so that seems to be kind of the ethos that we're going for. And that's why I think this is a very good example that Abby's put up here. Okay. So that's the bulk of what I wanted to show. Let me unmasquerade so I don't mess up any of Abby's work here. And I see Amber says if anyone wants to see what I've done, I'm happy to share. Amber, I can just impersonate you, maybe, if you want to chat and tell me what to go for here, at least to show. All right. Hey. I'm getting a lot of feedback from someone. Mic on? Okay, that's better. All right, so we have here, Amber, are we going to go to 7-8 or probably 7-8 advanced or intermediate? Does it matter? Till I hear from her, I'll go to, all right. I might have lost my, everyone just give me a thumbs up or give me something in chat that you can hear me, because when I took my earphones out, I was getting all that feedback. You might have just.
Your audio is still working fine.
Oh, good. And now I heard you. Okay, that's good. Yeah. Thanks. So, but while I get to Amber first, Vanessa said she would go ahead with 9 a.m. meeting. 9 a.m. meeting is for synchronous learning. So we are working off of the asynchronous doc. So there are no established 9 a.m. Menti meetings. If you look at the note that Casey sent out, we have an example email that Nooper has created, I believe, where you can see what an example of an email you can send out to your students, because your students might be anywhere in the world. They might all be in Mumbai, but they might be anywhere. So a 9 a.m. meeting is not necessarily going to work. The asynchronous plan was that we would set up possibly a morning and evening meeting, which would be 2 half-hour sessions when our students could join. However, if you, in that email that Nooper is sending out, she's asking each student to respond with where they are in the world. And through that, Nooper might find that everyone's basically within like a 3-hour time zone. She can set one meeting that they can all make. That may or may not happen tomorrow. So if you can establish a advisory meeting tomorrow, that's great, Vanessa and anyone else. If not, you really want to at least get that email out so you can start figuring out what time or times your mentees would need. But again, the 9 a.m. meeting with mentees, that is part of the synchronous learning. We're not doing that. We're doing asynchronous. So make sure you get on the asynchronous doc when you're looking at what we need to do. All right, general music is what Amber wants. So general music T3. Here we go. All right. So you see that we got a great welcome. Yeah. Nice survey, nice clean doc. I love the use of colors, especially. That's great for making things pop for kids so that they can see what you need to do. And here's a great idea. Let's figure out where you are, what you're doing. I love the check-in on spring break. This is what Amber's doing is a really extremely big task. Is she is actually introducing herself, introducing the kids to each other, because this is their first day of class, right? Because it's a try-3 class. So great job establishing that community. And we have activity 3. And it's writing a song to introduce yourself. What a great assignment. I love it. And so we have a nice poster she's made and some work with GarageBand. Amber has also said in the chat, if you haven't seen it, she made a screencast that she sent out to kids already to give them instructions. That's excellent. This is a great way to start the week and a great way really to introduce the class. So I love it. I'm just going to scroll back through chat right now and see if there's some questions I missed. Maya asks, where can we see the student response to discussion post in PowerSchool itself or a Google Doc? It'll be in PowerSchool itself. Let's see if I can go back and show you what that might look like. To do that, I'll stop. Okay, so I'm operating on about 2-year-old memory of using this, but I believe if you click on it directly, yeah, this is what it looks like. So you click on the thing directly, you can make a post, and that would be first post, and that's my subject, and then I can write what I want to here, post it, and then it shows up just like a normal sort of set of discussion posts. Then other students will write, they can submit replies because I allowed them to here, but they can create a new post here as well. So it's a self-contained discussion post. Okay, scrolling. Good. Amber, that's a great question about time zones. Does it automatically adjust for assignments? I don't know. We've never had to ask that before. So that is a really good question that I'm going to write down and figure out, and I'll try to just send out to the group or maybe in the faculty meeting tomorrow. So if you give me a second, I'll just write a note. Unless Alex or Mario knows.
No, I think so. We're pretty good. We've got the virtual help desk in case you need any help. At any time, you can always pop in or send an email to IT help desk, and we will be able to support you.
Yeah. Mario, what Amber was asking is when she posts an assignment in PowerSchool, if she posts it like 9 a.m. in Mumbai, does it automatically adjust for time zones in other parts of the world? And I don't think we've ever done that before.
So for PowerSchool, it is taking the local time zone.
Meaning, if I'm in America, will it look like it's due at 9 a.m. or will it adjust to my time zone?
If you're in America, it will actually take the local. It will take the Indian time zone because we made the server point to only India.
Sorry, just to be clear, I'm in America. What is the if Amber has posted 9 a.m. as the due date? What do I see in America? What time would I see?
So you will see it as 9 a.m. but you will see it as
Indian Standard.
It is the Indian Standard Time. Yes.
Okay. Yeah, and I think obviously, Amber, we're going to need to be somewhat forgiving about times in terms of due dates. My suspicion is kids will be getting stuff generally done on time, if not before, especially as they're working at their own pace. My hope is that that will happen for the most part, and that we don't have kids turning in things at the last minute. But obviously, we're going to need to understand that that's going to be something to work through. So thanks, Mario.
Yeah, you're welcome.
I'm looking back through other questions. If I have missed a question, if anyone wants to repost it, I'll see it.
Hey, Toby, can I ask a question?
Yeah, of course. Go ahead.
So in addition to us like finding out from our mentees and our students where they are in the world, are we also going to have like a master list of where we know that our students are?
Just I'm trying to get my voice because right now I think I've stopped presenting, right? I'm not right. Is that John asking?
Brandon.
Oh, Brandon, sorry. So I believe what we were doing is finding out from our students where they are and sending that information to Ramona.
Okay.
Because we have a list of where they went. That was a week and a half ago, but that doesn't necessarily tell us where they are. Some have gotten back to Mumbai. As you know, some might have had trouble getting back to Mumbai, and some families have made decisions since then to go maybe to a home country. So I think the best way we can do that, since you got your 6 mentees, is if you can find out from them, and we're going to funnel that all through Ramona, and she's got a big spreadsheet that she's going to use.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
So for the first few days as a teacher, you may not know where everyone is. Of course, you're welcome to ask them as well. I mean, that's a kind of intro that I did in my TOK class, but I have a very small TOK class, so it's manageable. And I just said, hey, first up, where are you? How you doing? Are you safe? How you feeling? Kind of check-ins like that I'm sending out tomorrow.
Great, thank you. Can I ask one more question?
Of course, yeah, go ahead.
So just to maintain child safeguarding, and because we have to get parental permission for one-on-one conversations, instead of setting up a Google Meet link for if kids want to like ask questions, I'm thinking like if I put that up and then only one kid shows up and it goes from being a class meeting to one-on-one, you know, by default.
Yeah.
Can I have like a discussion board available that I will be there during these hours and respond?
Yeah, I think that you can have a discussion board is perfectly fine. Email is perfectly fine. I think why we're throwing a lot into Google Meets right now is just because it's new. I don't think that means that everyone needs to use it all the time for everything. And I think you want to protect yourself and have children protect themselves. So if you go to a meeting where you think it's going to be a group meeting and it turns out it's one-on-one and you don't have the permissions, it's perfectly appropriate to say, hey, since it's just you and I, let's go off this Google meeting and how about we just do this in, you know, a PowerSchool chat, which is also recorded and monitored. So
okay,
I think that's perfectly appropriate.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Any other questions people have? All right, our window is closing. All right, our window has closed. Thank you so much. I'm not sure, I don't have my schedule. I do have my schedule. So next up, that was PowerSchool Essentials. Next up is our last session for the day. Calroy, thank you, Calroy, has volunteered to do some social media stuff. I want to add my urging along with Alex's that this is one we all need to get into. I personally have not been very good about doing my professional social media. I think now is the time. So I'll look forward to seeing all or most of you at 1:30. Thank you. Again, it's been an absolutely great day. I've been so impressed with how everyone's been just jumping in with both feet and getting excited about this. So thank you all so much. And I will stop recording now. Bye, everyone.
Thank you so much, Toby.
Thanks, Toby.
Thank you.